In the modern economy, companies operating in isolation is becoming a thing of the past. Today, success and environmental care depend on cooperation and the proper distribution of resources. It is exactly for this purpose that the Caucasian Circular Economy Alliance was established in January 2026. This is the first structured regional platform, whose main goal and mission is to build genuine cooperation between businesses based on the principles of the circular economy. The alliance is already supported by partner companies from Turkey, Azerbaijan, and Armenia. In total, it unites 30 partner companies. The aim of the alliance is to create industrial symbiosis, a system where the waste of one company is transformed into a valuable resource for another. Our guest today is the founder of this very platform, whose professional path spans over 15 years in the public, international, and private sectors. Salome Kareli joins us live. I should also note that Salome is the commercial director of the company GreenPack and the co-founder of the Packaging Materials Cluster, which brings together 70 companies. In short, Salome is here with us, adorned with these numerous titles, and we hand our live broadcast over to her. Salome, thank you very much for your time and for joining us. Essentially, you unite so many statuses under one name and surname that I want to cover a lot of topics during your visit. However, since this is recent news, I want to start with the alliance, preceded by a brief introduction to your background. Overall, how did you connect with this field? When did this story begin, and today what experience, practical or theoretical knowledge, supports you in being so firmly positioned in this field across so many directions, be it the association, the cluster, or the company? It is interesting to know what stands behind all of this.
Thank you very much for the invitation and for your interest in the topic. I indeed arrived here with a diverse background, but my colleagues often joke that when I start talking about packaging and the circular economy, my eyes light up differently. And it is truly the case, this field has completely drawn me in. The public sector helped me travel across the regions, to every village, and see how business and the economy work at the local level. This was a strong foundation for moving forward in this direction and understanding the needs. Later, working in an international organization brought more corporate ethics and discipline. Most importantly, it exposed me to international colleagues who thought globally and on a larger scale. This energy rubbed off on me, the realization that a single topic can be placed in different contexts, examined through a broader lens, and its global perspectives can be understood. After that, I got into the packaging sector, and I can say that I went through every stage of production, from the detailed mechanics of how the machinery works to international trade. I also possess academic knowledge in international trade and economics. I am currently working on my doctoral dissertation, which covers the theme of the Middle Corridor. All of this diverse experience logically led me to see what the region needs, the strengthening of cross-border economic relations and closer ties with one another. This is how the idea for the alliance was born.
Accordingly, we can probably assume this wasn't intended just for the Georgian market. You involved Azerbaijan and Armenia, and ensured this synergy through this platform. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Personally, when I became interested in this topic and in what was happening in our neighboring countries, I drove my own car with partners to explore the markets of Armenia and Azerbaijan and saw how local production operates. We had already started exporting by then, which made things much easier for us. When you start exporting, it is crucial to closely know the people you are doing business with. Then came international exhibitions in these countries, and such strong partnerships were formed that everyone started asking for a unified platform where these ideas could be voiced. Practically, I can say that we were already fulfilling the mission now assigned to the alliance, albeit in a more fragmented way, and these relationships already existed. As soon as I voiced the idea that we were starting to work on this, initially, I wanted it to be more perfected. My international colleagues hurried me along. They told me that the trends in packaging and the circular economy are so broad, growing, and dynamic that it was essential to start working in this direction immediately. As you mentioned, 30 companies got involved in this initiative right from the start without any promotion. They are our members and currently act more like a focus group because we took a stronger focus to identify one sector, one solution, and one problem to work on more extensively. This meant connecting companies within our packaging sector and value chain, whether that be logistics, raw material suppliers, or processors, to each other. The goal was to solve the problem of working in a fragmented way by providing a space where knowledge and connections would become simpler. And what is our solution? For example, today a major international exhibition for the packaging sector, Interpack, began in Germany. However, you will agree that it is difficult for just anyone to attend this exhibition due to financial or time constraints. This is where we, the Alliance, step in, a solution that places similar connections, featuring validated and identified companies, into a unified, transparent database to facilitate their linkage. Why is this important? In the process of seeking such symbiosis in Georgia, various NGOs are involved, and international organizations are also working very effectively. When you start analyzing this and have the necessary data, you can easily identify new business connections. However, the Georgian market is small for such initiatives to reach a massive scale. Real results always emerge when we, the neighboring countries, collaborate with each other, as we already have the highest volumes of trade, import, and export with our immediate border nations.
How difficult is it to unite different cultures on this single circular platform? What barriers might emerge during and throughout this unification process?
By the way, I would like to tell you that we have already held one international event, Zero Waste Day. We celebrated it together with our international colleagues, and it was a widely attended event because we had representatives from various countries. We shared with each other how, on a daily basis, we can replace single-use items with reusable packaging alternatives. There were women there from America, Germany, and Romania. But my Turkish, Azerbaijani, and Armenian colleagues will agree that when we exchanged these ideas in an informal setting, we essentially shared the exact same problems, the exact same challenges, and possessed roughly the same level of knowledge. More or less, it can be said that our points of contact at this stage are much closer to each other than to the rest of the world, where significant steps have already been taken towards the circular economy, and there is a growing economy in that direction. We, and practically Armenia as well, are taking steps in this direction simultaneously. The experiences of Turkey and Azerbaijan are also very interesting. I think that since this is just the first stage, it is fair to say we are only now starting to shape this structure and identify exactly how close we are to one another.
Are these 30 companies the combined total from all three of these countries? And who are they exactly? What types of companies are they? What is their scale in terms of measurable weight, size, or turnover? Of course, I am not asking for exact figures, but just to have a general idea, are we talking about large-scale businesses?
These are the major players. They are essentially the ones with whom we already had contact, and there is an existing trust that by cooperating with us, we can achieve even higher goals. It is important to note that this is an initiative originating from within the business itself, right? Similar initiatives might get lost either purely in the environmental space or remain solely within the business sector. This involves a diverse structure. Participants include processors, raw material suppliers, every link in the value chain united around packaging, and, incidentally, the non-governmental sector from Armenia as well. However, we believe that when the Alliance's expansion moves into the second phase in about 4 months, we will have representative governance in these regions too. Companies with greater regional influence will take the lead to successfully implement such initiatives. At this stage, we have international experts involved. I want to thank the UN Development Programme, UNDP, as they provided consulting services upon our request. World Bank experts helped us shape the structure, We are now working with angel investors so that this idea does not remain at just one level, but is also monetized. To ensure it grows more easily right from the beginning, we want their involvement to help us understand how to develop in the right direction.
Salome, what did the first phase entail, and what distinguishes the second phase? In this case, what process is the expansion associated with, which will begin in 4 months?
Yes, well, the first phase is not over yet, since we are just now starting to search for new companies and are currently in this process. However, as I mentioned, we wanted everything to happen in parallel. We initiated activities, but on the other hand, we are constantly developing and analyzing what we have done so far. Regarding the focus group I mentioned, we are currently working on a web platform where we want to integrate artificial intelligence. As we go through each step together with these companies, we listen to their feedback to plan our subsequent steps.
What results are you anticipating from the AI integration, and how will you directly involve this tool in the daily activities of the Alliance or on the example of individual companies?
Right now, as I told you, connecting these companies happens manually. It is highly important to make finding a specific company simple. That was exactly the primary demand. It emerged as a result of our meetings. With AI integration, you will receive highly filtered information tailored to your focus, regarding the necessary raw materials from a specific country. However, this also requires a lot of work moving into the second phase. In the second phase, there will be a stronger emphasis on the development of this platform and on recruiting more diverse members. We will seriously transition to this once we have a database for these offerings, allowing us to make a more valuable proposition to our alliance members. There will also be a greater focus on identifying which raw materials exist in which countries and in what capacities, and advancing this research will be a separate line of action for us.
Salome, I definitely want to clarify the core principle here, which is essentially the starting point of this whole alliance. I mean, how is it implemented in practice that the waste of one company can be turned into a very valuable and important resource for another company? What are some examples that could make this principle more perceivable and understandable for the public?
The main principle here is the circular economy. As we know, there are various studies regarding waste in Georgia, and the primary problem identified is that not enough waste is collected for it to be processed by another company. Therefore, to solve this problem, we look to another country to figure out who we can send this waste to, or conversely, to purchase waste from them that we can utilize. Consequently, when researching this, and why it is important for our companies, we already have similar experiences in the packaging sector. Our companies, the members united in the cluster, already had similar partnership relations with Turkey and Azerbaijan, for instance, although it was fragmented. Considering that the packaging sector is growing and startups are emerging who simply do not know where to start, we step in to help them by providing basic information. This means we offer different services for enterprises of various types and sizes. While on one hand, there is the provision of this information and filtered lists, for large companies, our offer is to conduct comprehensive research and analysis. This is critical for any large enterprise planning to expand its exports. We offer foundational research and analysis. Additionally, there is an advertising opportunity on this platform, optimizing it to provide better visibility and popularization of our companies. However, an equal governance structure within the alliance is our goal, and I believe there will be more tangible results during the second phase.
Yes, absolutely. We have very little time left, and in this final minute, I want to make sure we discuss the achievements and plans to introduce what the packaging materials cluster has accomplished. It now counts more than 70 members, correct? You have grown and expanded. It is interesting to hear how the results efforts, achievements, and the main harvest accumulated by this cluster look.
By its very nature, the existence of the cluster is extremely important, and it will continue to function because the demand among the members themselves is very high for various activities to continue and operate. There were certain difficulties related to donors, however, we managed to maintain their numbers by offering valuable services. Their needs are identified annually. At this stage, this involved laboratory research as well as our involvement in international certification. We are actively working in this direction. I also want to point out that 70 companies sounds impressive, but the most important thing is the work that took place behind the scenes. Before the cluster was formed, practically 70% of goods in Georgia were imported. Following our activities and the development of this sector into a true industry, it leveled out, and now imports and local production are at a 50-50 ratio. I believe this is a tremendous achievement. And, of course, success breeds new startup ideas and new industries in this direction. I think this spirit will carry over to these businesses, and they will continue to develop along this path.
Thank you very much, Salome. I wish you success in all directions, in the numerous endeavors you lead and manage. From every perspective, I wish you the realization of your plans and goals within the set timeframes, so that we can then share this information with our viewers in a timely manner. Salome Kareli, the founder of the Caucasian Circular Economy Alliance, was with us.